Thank you very much. The Honorable Vincent Byron, our Attorney General. Could we give him a round of applause for so ably presiding over tonight's momentous and historic event. I must, of course, acknowledge the distinguished presence of our esteemed Governor General, Sir S.W. Taglialatela, and thank him for sharing in this moment of history with us. Knowing him, as I believe I do now, he would not have had it any other way. I want equally, though, to recognize the presence of all Cabinet colleagues who are here, the Deputy Prime Minister and the rest of the colleagues of the Cabinet who are present, Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps. But I equally want to make special mention of our national hero, Dr. the Right Honorable and Right Excellent Sir Kennedy Alphonse Simmons and Lady Simmons. Let me add to the protocol this, the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, our Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly and Senator. Invitees all. This, as I said before, is a very proud moment for all of us in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it is a reflection of the kind of a beautiful history which we, the proud people of St. Kitts and Nevis, would wish to create, making a history and doing something about which we can be proud. I should, of course, thank Kamal Shihada, who over the last 2+ years I've come to know and to admire as a man not just of experience, but a man of incredible wisdom. Kamal, could you stand and could we give him a round of applause of one of the shakers and movers who came to our country, fell in love with our country, and has made St. Kitts and Nevis his own home and paradise. I want especially to welcome his lovely wife and son who share the table with him. Could you all stand and could we again give them a round of applause? Thank you very much. Equally, I must commend Mohammed and his wife. Mohammed, you had heard before. It was he and Kamal who were the two drivers of this particular project. One was the astute businessman preoccupied with numbers. That's Mohammed. And the other was the elder gentleman concerned beyond numbers with how do we develop and create a St. Kitts and Nevis of which our citizens would want to love and cherish above all else. How do we develop a people and transform them to contribute more than that was given to them? There are many other messages and lessons I learned from Kamal Shihada, which will endure with me. But I'm certainly happy to call you a loyal citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Give him again a round of applause. And equally, Mohammed came, astute as he was, sharp as he was. He too knew that St. Kitts and Nevis was a delightful and idyllic place, a place that he had to anchor and to set his roots from which other activities would spread. Although he had at times been insistent on certain things, he never lost sight of what was important. what was important to him had to be important to my beloved country. And in many times when we sat to discuss many matters, some of them intense, some of them until he writes, or Kamal writes, or the age writes, may never be known to the public. There was a time when we felt that this project will not endure to the end. And yet all the parties, whatever their difference and their initial starting point, rose to the occasion, recognized what was at stake was a future of St. Kitts and Nevis, the future of a country in which they wanted to be part of. The future of St. Kitts and Nevis was one in which we envisage for our young people. They will always be able to say that our tomorrow is better than our today. And I believe that the coming on stream of the Park Hyatt, bringing the luxury brand to St. Kitts and Nevis, is an indication that our tomorrow in St. Kitts and Nevis certainly will be brighter than our today. So thanks again to the personalities, the builders, the financiers, and all the other parties, the lawyers, like my good friend there at the table. He stood with us one occasion for 3 days as this project seemed to have been faltering here and there. And we invited our own QC from Barbados, a man who had served us well as a Team Unity outfit, Dr. Hamel Smith. Well, Mr. Hamel Smith, senior counsel. And at the end of the day, we left with the hope that the news that had brought the cabinet together, clustered for 3 days, which at the time was not very optimistic, we left after that engagement feeling, tomorrow will be better than today. I see us today and tomorrow celebrating our own history in St. Kitts and Nevis, celebrating a history that we as loyal citizens have created for ourselves, celebrating a history and creating a legacy for the generation after, a tomorrow which must always be brighter than today. It reflects in many ways the ethos of the Team Unity government, of which I have the honor now to lead. The coming together, despite the challenges, despite the history of division, to create in the political culture a new mindset, a new undertaking, a new appreciation that we can put our country first and we can deliver more together than we would ever be able to deliver apart. I want then to thank all of my colleagues who are part of the cabinet and who have been extremely supportive of the work of this government. Without you, we would not have been here this evening celebrating that history. And talking about that history, I want to especially and to publicly say thank you to His Excellency, because he is a man I've said in many different fora, is a man who has been part of history in the making and has been an ennoblement of the finest act by the present generation to create a better tomorrow. I have been able to get sound counsel and advice from one of our finest citizens in His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton. And so I wish to thank you publicly for your contribution to the stability and the forward thrust of the Team Unity administration. Nearly 3 years ago, well, in fact, when this project started, on the ground, with a lucky 5 persons, it mushroomed in 2014, according to the records of the Social Security, to an average of 40 persons in 2014. A modest start for what has become now one of the most sought after hotel properties. By 2017, the work being done on this hotel gave employment to an average of 576 persons, peaking to over 800. It represented more than 35% of the employed force in the construction industry, but importantly, it represented 55% of the earnings in the construction industry. Give this development a round of applause. It tells me what will be the future, that the workers who are employed here at this facility were being paid at higher levels of earnings than were being paid elsewhere. And that is a good sign, because we want shared prosperity, because we want our people always to be able to enhance their lives. And so while they were at 35%, significant number in terms of employees, there were 55% of the wage paid in that industry. And as we look at the 300 plus who are now here, many of them have come from some of the best facilities in the Federation. The guy that brought me to this particular facility, Mr. Hill, he came from Gingerland in Nevis. And before he came to this new facility, he was with the Four Seasons. I didn't ask him, but I made an educated guess. The pasture here was much greener than at Four Seasons. And equally, I have encountered today many who came from the Four Seasons. Not the Four Seasons, but the Marriott Hotel. Importantly then, this facility is rewarding our people and setting an industry standard in terms of its contribution and support to its employees. Let's give them another round of applause. What impresses me most, though, is the standard of excellence associated with the Park Hyatt brand. And that standard of excellence will reinvigorate, will energize in all the other facilities a need to raise the bar. And the beneficiary of that raising of the bar at Marriott, the raising the bar in Nevis, the raising the bar elsewhere, will be all of us, plus those who come to our country. In a real sense, Park Hyatt then represents our celebrating ourselves, our potential as a people to rise to the highest level of expectation and to surpass it. That is what we want to engender in our young people, wherever they are, in school to strive for excellence, in our colleges to strive for excellence, in our workplaces to strive for excellence, and to give of their very best to this beautiful country, which so many persons, once they come here, they so easily and quickly fall in love with. And it reminds me of Marcus Garvey way back then, and his first visit to St. Kitts. And he said what struck him was the beauty, speaking then to the physicality of the country of St. Kitts. But beyond that, he says, there was an inner beauty. It is this inner beauty in our people that exudes so naturally and allow our guests and visitors to want to come back and to make our St. Kitts and Nevis their home. I hope the best of that inner beauty will always be here at the Park Hyatt. I want to make 2 further points, and then I shall shut up. This long journey is important, that we look back and we learn from those experiences. Certainly for us as a government, there are many lessons that I have taken from that 3 days as we were in isolation. 3 days, if you will, in the wilderness. And it is that we have to anchor development in the context of our own vision for the development of our people. Because I recall sitting in those difficult 3 days, going late at night, and saying to those who are in contention, Christopher Harbour, Park Hyatt, well, not Park Hyatt, the Range, and so on, we have to see this as concentric circles. Park Hyatt has to win for Christopher Harbour to win. And Christopher Harbour has to win for St. Kitts and Nevis to win. My concern was that St. Kitts and Nevis must win. And that was the guiding philosophy that, as it were, determined how the government operated and faced a most difficult situation that resolved itself smoothly only because the government acted on principle and with the public interest at heart. The final word comes from what the Attorney General has said, and I suspect in part it was his role in those 3 crucial days and nights away from Gloria that led him to the star position he's playing tonight, because Mohammed remembers his involvement as Kamal does. But I want to talk just a little bit about the CBI program, about which Mohammed and the AG spoke. It was St. Kitts and Nevis's gift to the rest of the world. And I want, in saying that, to acknowledge the vision of Dr. Kennedy Simmons and his team then, who gave to the world in 1984 a citizenship program. And every program that has come after, in some way or the other, has copied from the legislation or has copied from the ideas and the policy prescription of the St. Kitts and Nevis's citizenship program. So we are starters and we are leaders. The wish of my administration is that we continue to lead so that we are remembered not only as the oldest program, but we are remembered as the best. That is why in 2015, we started a hectic program of repositioning, reorganizing, and restructuring our citizenship unit. So that was it 2 days ago at a forum all the way in Russia. St. Kitts and Nevis's citizenship unit was acclaimed as the most innovative and the best one in the world. Let's give those in our CIU a round of applause. Could we give Lescan and his team, Roberts, McCall, Bailey, all of those who are here from the CIU, could you stand and be recognized? Could we give them again a round of applause for the award? In doing this repositioning, strengthening the due diligence, ensuring it is the best in the world, we have had the support of many international partners. And I want to commend the U.S. Ambassador Linda for her very cooperative approach in our dealings with her and her excellent support for St. Kitts and Nevis. Madam Ambassador, could you stand? Could you stand? This administration certainly welcomes the cooperation with our most significant international partner, the United States of America. And we thank Her Excellency for the very cordial and supportive work we have been able to do together to improve and to create that brighter tomorrow of which I have spoken a while back. I want, in summing up, to say thank you again to all the parties. Some are here and some are not here, but we thank them. And I want to add to that specialist, Munaf Ali, who is Mohammed's partner. I want him to stand. Munaf, where are you seated? And could we give him a round of applause for all the excellent work that was done by persons like Milner from the Kia Group, and the excellent stewardship of the persons at the range. Without the support of the Park Hyatt, we would not have this branded product to celebrate tonight. And so it was an honor for me to have met today earlier the president of the Park Hyatt, President Sears. Could you stand and could we give him a special hand of welcome? I end then with a commitment to the people of this country. St. Kitts and Nevis is a country that I love very much, a country that has been very good to me, and I commit that always I will remain loyal to St. Kitts and Nevis, loyal to this country. And as I said during my campaign, I wish for the generation after me and for the young people, when they look at all the beautiful countries, we have the minister from St. Lucia here, we welcome him. We have representatives from Dominica, we welcome them all. We have persons from all around the world. But when you look east, west, north, and south, I want the young people of St. Kitts and Nevis to say, of all the lands, east or west, north and south, we love St. Kitts and Nevis the best. That is the commitment we made. And so I shall work tirelessly to enhance, to ennoble, and to empower the good citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. That is one of the commitment I make. Thank you very much. Enjoy your dinner. It's been lovely to be here.